In any relationship, the feelings we share evolve, but sometimes that evolution isn't as clear as we'd like it to be. You may notice that the things that once brought you closer are now causing small gaps between you. It could be something as small as a glance not returned, a text message that goes unanswered for longer than usual, or maybe it's the conversations that used to flow effortlessly, now feeling strained and awkward. The thing is, change doesn't always happen all at once. It's like watching a slow tide pulling away from the shore. Bit by bit, the closeness you once shared begins to feel a little farther away, even if you didn't do anything to cause it. Maybe they seem distracted more often, or they start spending more time with other people. You begin to wonder if the way they once felt about you is shifting, or if you're just imagining it. But here's the thing, it's not always about you. There are countless factors that could be affecting how they see you, even if you can't put your finger on it. Life changes, personal struggles, or even just a shift in how they view the world can affect their feelings. They may not even realize that these little shifts are impacting the way they interact with you. And this is where things can get tricky. The change happens quietly, without any dramatic gestures, and before either of you knows it, it feels like there's a growing distance. In moments like this, it's easy to jump to conclusions. You might blame yourself, thinking you're the reason behind their change of heart. But that's not always the case. Life happens to all of us. We grow, we change, and sometimes we lose sight of the people closest to us. This is also a time for self-reflection. Has something changed in your own life that could have unintentionally impacted the relationship? Growth can sometimes mean moving in different directions, even if it doesn't have to be the end. But here's where things can take a turn. You don't have to sit back and watch the slow change happen. You have the power to ask questions, to reach out, and to start a conversation. It's important to know that the little things you notice can be addressed by simply talking about them. Once you communicate, so you can begin to rebuild. It might take time, but the key is understanding, patience, and willingness to grow together. The relationship doesn't have to fade into nothingness. You can rekindle what was lost. It's important to remember that relationships are not static. They evolve, and sometimes that evolution means working through the bits and pieces of change that come along the way. If you feel like someone is slowly changing their mind about you, don't be afraid to face it. Talk it out. Listen to each other. Relationships are never perfect, but they can always evolve if you allow them to. Change is natural, growth is optional. And in relationships, it's always worth it to try to understand, to adapt, and to rebuild.